Okay, so I apologize for not having done readings for a while, but there was a lot going on at home. And like as I said before, parenting always takes precedence. Um, and also, it's nice when I get feedback from people. Like mostly it's people I know here that reach out and stuff. But like it's I mean, it could also be that I'm not checking all my messages or looking at old videos for stuff, but I'm not like my technical wizardry kind of begins and ends with Instagram posts. So it's not, I'm not like going deep with communication stuff, but it was nice to find out that when like some of the information that came through on a reading was like really helpful to someone I knew and that helped launch a creative project. So that's, I mean, the whole point of listening to guidance is opening up that creative space and like allowing like new information to come in and playing with it, working with it, and just having like a more joyful approach to life where you're not like always grabbing onto the old for your dear life, you know. It's like working with the universe and being like going with the flow in the sense of like trusting that things are going in the right direction, even if some doors are closing or, you know, there's that right now. I mean, there's been a lot of like things coming to the surface in turmoil, but it's been happening so much since the eclipse of 2016 in my life that it's like what first really like was a TKO has become like I'm growing more accustomed to it, and I'm not like panicking as much, and getting more into the sense of like allowing and like, okay, well, if this thing needs to wind up for whatever reason, like it's for the greatest good. And yeah, and you know, just not thinking that your like fearful mind is like smarter than the universe. Like, I mean, it's smart about some stuff, but it's not like it's not overseeing the whole game board. Like you're stuck on whatever Monopoly Street it's been for. I don't really like board games, truthfully, but I'm trying to like recall a street. Okay, Atlantic Avenue, Baltic. Okay, it's coming back. So like, let's say you're just like your shape on one of those squares, like on Atlantic Avenue. But like source, like the universe sees the whole board game, and it's like a better vantage point to move properties around and get like an overview of a good plan, right? So you got to work with the game master, as it were. I know there's some like, I'm not like super familiar with everything sci-fi, everything, whatever you would call that, like video game mixed with like kind of the matrixy kind of stuff. I don't know if you can really call the Matrix sci-fi because because the costumes and sunglasses were so 90s that it's like brutal. It goes to my core. It's like like why like, why did you choose those coats and those, like, why, like, you know. Anyway, so I don't see that movie as futuristic whatsoever. It's like very 90s. And anyhow, so there's different genres of storytelling, and yeah, there's some that include that notion of the game. I guess Harry Potter would be guilty of that as well. I mean, I watch what my kids watch, so There was this show, okay, like when I think it was when my eldest was a kid, and it was called something like Lola the Magic Unicorn that felt like an outcast or something like that, and it was like such a good show, and it was very short run, and you cannot find it on the internet, and it's that pisses me off to no end because I love that show. So it's something about some unicorn that feels outcast, and then they develop like coping and communication skills, which I think every unicorn needs, right? Okay, I'm gonna throw these glasses that need cleaning on, and we're gonna move at a glacial pace through this reading. It's like blue skies, but there's still some snow outside, but it's technically like spring, quote unquote spring. But I'm not buying it till I see a green leaf. But I see some red buds, so that's like, maybe it's 2 weeks away. Oh my gosh, how do you even put these on? Ouch. Okay, when you put barrettes in the mix, like, things go crazy. All right, so we have the Divine Temple Crystal. I am deeply connected to an expression of the divine source of the universe. I'm deeply connected to and an expression of the divine source of the universe. So you're like 24/7 part of this, and you are a creative expression of this energy, this will to create, this source energy. So if that's not a good reason to feel awesome, I don't know what is. Like, you can't really claim loneliness in the awareness that you're you're connected to and an expression of the divine source. Like that's pretty heavy duty. Don't forget that stuff. Like, don't believe like sad stories, and it's not true. All right, then we have Fairy Stone, good fortune. Yay! I can hear like cash register sounds in my head when I look at it feels like that kind of like that Lakshmi kind of stuff going on. Fairy Stone. I'm open to receive all the goodness the universe has to offer me at all times and in all ways. So it's like double. Not only are you part of and connected to source energy, you are also, it should be an awareness of the fact that you can receive everything that the universe wants to give you all the time and in every possible way. So like, but the challenge is for you to like remember that and be open to that, because you can just be like yourself going through your day and just thinking about like what slice of pizza you're going to buy for lunch and stuff. But you need to also stay conscious of the fact that like you're part of the universe and like a shining like expression of that. And not only because of that, you are completely 100% like a vessel for all that the universe wants to give you, but you have to not be in resistance. Like, you have to allow that reality to like be part of you, that awareness. And then the awareness is like an allowing of things to, it's like you're, I mean, I haven't read The Cave. Someone, yeah, I thought maybe it was Chris. Someone mentioned like the cave. No, it wasn't. It was this guy, Ian. Yeah. So Ian mentioned Plato's cave, I think, to me, in reference to The Matrix. And I don't think I had read that yet, but it's like on my to-do list. Anyway, so it's kind of like I haven't read that, but I'm gonna like kind of tie them together recklessly. What I'm gonna say now, like literature people or classics students are gonna roll their eyes. But anyway, so it's like you're in a cave, and every aspect of the cave is just like solid gold, sparkling rubies, and like just off crazy nice. Maybe there's even some cool characters like sitting in the cave. You don't even see them; they're just being quiet and watching you, waiting to see if you'll notice them. And because it's dark, you have yourself convinced like you're just focusing on the darkness, and you have to like realize that even if you're standing in darkness, there are great treasures to behold, and sometimes you can behold them in your mind's eye, like your third eye, your pineal gland eye, and have this awareness of these higher vibrations or better circumstances that are also present, even though you're in this like moment, you're living in this moment of just like being in darkness and stuff. So it's really on you to have that kind of awareness in life. It's like you wake up every morning and remind yourself like, hey, no matter what my human eyes see, let me remember that I'm deeply connected to and an expression of the divine source of the universe, and everything it wants to offer me, I'm totally down with and open to. And despite appearances, I have this awareness of all the riches, all the beauty, all the love, all the opportunities, all the creativity that could ever be exists as well in this moment, in this dark cave. And all it would take is shedding, like, I'm getting kind of like, there's a lot of like confirmation energy coming through me right now, but yeah. So if in that moment of darkness, like having the awareness that all the riches and opportunities and creativity and love are like also present and yours to have, like, can you do that? Like, can you be that mindful to really experience life as it truly is? Because life is multi-dimensional. It's not just what your eyes see in the dark cave. Like, all it takes is like just the like light shining through even just like a pinhole in the rock, will just like blast illumination on like what is truly there and stuff. And my phone liked that message, so high five on that. Okay, I got like a lot of cards because I didn't do a reading for a long time, and some people might see that as a disservice because it will take longer, but other people will be like, thank you for making up for all that lost time. So hopefully you're in the latter group. All right, and I also took cards from other decks I have that are, more like advice cards. So this is from the Louise Hay. No, I'm lying. This one is from the Well-Being Cards by Esther and Jerry Hicks. But, hi to Louise Hay too, since she came in my head there. All right, so we have here, I envision more and act less. As you take time to find images in your mind that are pleasing, you will more often achieve vibrational alignment with all the things that you desire. From that alignment, you experience more inspired ideas and assistance from others. Inspired action is very satisfying and extremely productive. Totally agree with that. And like I was telling one of my kids, yesterday that it's, you know, this right here, this what we're experiencing right now is kind of like the old news of what we made in a higher dimension. And you can use the like water vapor, like clouds, rain, ice cube kind of comparison, where it's like the stuff you want to make in this life, work on it in the vapor stage, because it's easier to move stuff around than when it's in a block of ice, right? Because you're gonna have to like put all your fire and effort into the block of ice to like turn it back to water to be malleable again, and that's a lot of unnecessary stress when you can just chill and work with energies on a higher plane. Because you don't want to be stressing out all the time to make your creations. So instead of like running around trying to melt the ice cube, they're suggesting that you envision more and act less and use that skill that you have. And when you are working with your thoughts and emotions and desires and stuff, make sure you focus on what you actually want. And then that sort of sets the scene. It's sort of like you're being given the right to run your own Broadway production. And you like get to choose the theater. So it's like, well, where is this happening? Like what, what's it like out on the sidewalk, and what are the seats and stage, and what's the crew like there? And then it's like, well, what play are you going to put on? And then depending on the play that you choose to put on, like that will dictate what kind of audience is going to come in and check out your play. So you may as well like put on a cool play, right? You don't want to be like just putting on whatever stress like dictates that day. It's like, okay, because everything sucks today, I'm just gonna make it about like how that guy cut me off and I swore at them. And the play doesn't have to be that. It could be like just out of your most positive, off the hook thing that ever occurred to you, or like you wish had occurred to you. Think about that and put on that play and then see who shows up, right? Like those are like when you put on your when you set your energies, you draw a certain audience. So make sure you're bothering to put on a good show, and a show that you actually want to watch and be part of, instead of like some random stuff, right? Okay. Sometimes I get like pre-reading anxiety, but not like a lot. But it's similar to like playing a live music show, and but similar, but like 1% of this like stress level, and but it always seems to kind of work out, or like so. And same thing with the music show, so it's like whatever. And I guess like that's better than being bored, right? So it's good to challenge yourself with, within reason. Okay, so in my deck, we have this card and this card, and then we got this one and this one. So the way I'm seeing this is like the time for fakery and mask wearing is over. Or like there's an awareness that masks were being worn. Because like if it were like this, it's like it's over. But it's more like, hey, people wearing masks, being inauthentic, and that's over now. So that a new beginning can happen and love can grow, or like your project or your whatever you're working on. If you can be authentic and realize like, oh geez, okay, like as a survival mechanism, I've been wearing a mask, but it's like I'm done with that. Because I want to grow something into this, that's like more fun. Okay. And I also picked, just to throw a bunch of curveballs at you today, I picked from the Rumi deck this card, which I will now look at, called Dance of the Divine Feminine. I mean, we can like kind of presume what that is about, but I will try. What? Oh, it's not page 42. It's card 42. Okay. All right. Here we go. If a tree could move from one place to another, it would not suffer the pain of the saw or the oppressive wounds. If the sun and moon stood still like the rocks, they could not offer brilliance. How bitter the taste of water would be if the river stopped its flow, remaining still like seawater. What? Okay, what? Seawater doesn't stay still. Okay, anyway, I'm not gonna take issue with Rumi because like people love him. Okay, I'm gonna back it up and be good and not judge. All right, here we go. I'll just like start at that one section there. All right, how bitter the taste of water would be if the river stopped its flow, remaining still like seawater. When the seawater rises to become a cloud, it loses its bitterness and pours the rain of sweetness. I'm feeling like this is translated and losing some of the little zing-zang from the original. Okay, I've given you only a few examples. You can figure out the rest. Break away from the self and enter the kingdom of love. All right, well, this is just, sorry if I'm talking too close, I'll like blasting your ears. It's basically saying what the crystal cards were saying. It's like, you're part of something greater and like enjoy this dance. Dance. Well, it's like if, let's say, okay, like today people dance alone primarily, or, it's like, but I think this is a couple's dance. This is an old fashioned. So you're like dancing with the universe, like you're partnered. While the universe may not be something you can like grab, like this pine cone. Nonetheless, it's an energy that you can interact with all the time if you allow yourself to be sensitive to that. I'm just going to look at the time. Okay. And to let go of like to allow the flow and the guidance and, enjoy life in the sense of like, the universe is my partner through this, and it's going to be fun and beautiful and romantic and all the things that I can't conceive of, all this beauty that I can't conceive of even happening to me is available to me if I allow the universe to enjoy like playing with me, and guiding me and stuff like that. So stuff we've been talking about in this reading already. So that's kind of nice. Then we have the Seven of Cups, the Ten of Cups, and the Ace of Pentacles. There's a lot of energy behind the Ace of Pentacles and Ten of Cups cards. Like it feels like it's really being grounded, and it feels sparkly and nice. Like like when something grounds in reality and it has that divine touch to it, that's when you know that feeling like when you fall in love or like you just have this like, or you have like an inspired idea and you're just like quietly confident. You're like, uh-huh. Like, it's like you feel complete, right? Oops. But in this way that feels heaven sent, and you're like, this is out of the ordinary and not everybody's having this. And wow, this is like quite something, you know? And sometimes it's not always a good idea to like share that with your buddies when things like that happen, because not everybody's experiencing it. And even though it'd be cool if your friends were happy for you, it's not always the case. And you just gotta enjoy your new thing with this new person, or you know, and just enjoy it and not feel like you need to bring it back into all your old situations. Like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Just like allow with the flow. And maybe it means that you're not like spending time with like the exact same people doing the exact same stuff all the time, and you can be a little bit mysterious, right? Like, that's okay. And I feel like the Seven of Cups, so normally it means like, well, it means choice. But sometimes like people are like, this guy's like sleeping with all these different people, you know, whatever. But it can also just mean like a lot of different choices are before you, you know. But I kind of feel like this offering of long-term, like this stable offer of fulfilling love has a lot of like potential for different creative projects. I really feel like that negative aspect of just like the crazy narcissist roaming through people think they vibe, like, I don't feel that as much. It feels just more like, okay, like they have an awareness of choice, and that like some of these projects like don't have to be romantic anymore. They can be creative or business projects, or it's like I can handle this. I can handle this snake and like make some cool, you know, business. Like, it's not scary anymore. Like, you know, it's like, all right, it's a bunch of stuff, you know, make the stable offer of this beautiful relationship so that you can do a bunch of cool stuff. That's the feeling I'm getting today. And then we have Justice, and we have the Chariot. Okay, yeah, whatever. I'm not covering the cards, but they're not that crazy. So, and the King of Chalices. This deck is so funny. All right. So like double entendre kind of depictions, but well, whatever. Okay. So I'm kind of getting the feeling like the masculine energy is contemplating like he could be on the move. He could go anywhere. And I'm saying he, but it could be any gender, but it's the masculine energy approaching, like thinking about the female. It's like, well, I could go anywhere with my chariot, but I'm really drawn to her. I'm like thinking about her all the time. And like what could be. And maybe I just need to like, I don't even know what kind of animal those are. I guess they're like bulls or something. Maybe it's time to like take the harnesses off these bulls and just like let them graze while I graze here. You know, like settle down. But it's gonna take some, like there's blue here, like communication to create this alliance, and also like love. Pink is like passion and kind of virtue mixed together. So if you can come forward with passion and virtue and communicate that to the feminine, then you don't even need to be like off roaming the world with this like with this whip in your hand that you might not need to like make the bulls proceed. This deck, anyway, like it's a useful deck because it has like different definitions and it's specifically about a certain kind of dynamic. I'm just gonna have a quick look at the Chariot according to this deck. The Scepter of Command. All right. Where's the scepter? I'm not seeing a scepter. All right. Be that as it may. To conquer a rival, you must change tactics and perspective, taking a retreat and then staging a forceful surprise attack. So it's also possible that the masculine will come back in a surprise type fashion because he was like, you know, rushing around and it's like, hey, I'm here. Maybe you are asleep to me right now because I was gone and you gave up on me. But I'm going to have to wake you up in a convincing manner with communication, like a communication of love, like passion mixed with virtue, in order to wake you up, because otherwise you're just like, leave me alone, I'm sleeping. I don't want to deal with people that take off on me, truthfully. Like, I choose sleep. But yeah, so he might rush in and just be like, no, like, it's worth your while to wake up. Because now I want to be this guy. I want to be like in charge of my love life, and I want you to be my queen, you know. Like, can I offer you many blessings and comfort and love? Because I'm here now. Because justice has come in to be like, I don't think so. You know, with some of the choices you may have made, Divine Masculine, where things were not cool. And it's like, okay, you can't give yourself balance. I'm going to come in and give you balance. And it might mean that other people take actions, much to your surprise, that cause the undoing of whatever you had going on, to make space for you to come forward and be this guy. All right, and then we'll go to, just want to keep an eye on the time. I still have a bit of time. All right, so we have the 10 of Pentacles, the upside down Hanged Man, and the Knight of Swords. So just like the Chariot, when I was picking up that the masculine wants to kind of rush in and try to wake up the feminine and go like, hey, I'm serious. This time, like, I'm not just being reckless and awful. I want to be a king. Anyway, so we have again this like impulsive, or like, I'm on a mission to tell you something, and like, you know, cut out the crap. Like, I'm coming forth to deliver this message. And it may seem a bit like, whoa, you know, because it's calmer to like have a King of Swords or an Emperor who's like super calm. But this guy's like running around on his horse. He's like, hold up, like, stop the presses. I'm here. You know, I want to tell you something, that I want to tell you I'm awesome. And I have I'm in your life for a reason. And like, it looks like these fumes. It reminds me of like old Mad magazines, like fumes coming off something. So it's like you may have thought I was kind of stinky before, but check me out now. I'm all dressed up. I have wings on my back. I made my horse tired from like, doing all this effort to come towards you. The divine is working with me, like above him, like, right, see? And yeah, so he's serious because he's come out of, like, he was like this before in suspension, having to contemplate everything. But now it's like he's holding up this grid. It's like first that, like, the Matrix owned me, but now I own the Matrix. Like, I'm holding it up. Like, I realize I'm part of it and I'm creating it. So now I can come forward on my horse and communicate this to you because I want this total, solid fulfillment. That's so sweet. I love that. Okay. Then we have the Daughter of Cups. And we have the Daughter of Swords. And the Hierophant. And the Priestess of Discs. Yeah, so there's a lot of like envisioning. Yeah. So both of these cards are kind of like using your visions to manifest something you want, like, mentally to happen, like in the physical, like a stable, like the universe is speaking to you and helping you create this like stable family life, essentially, however you define family. And you're in charge of your powers and you're like sending out your manifestation skills into the vapor to bring down something you really want. That's wonderful. And staying connected to source there so that you can experience this overflowing love, abundance in your authenticity, because you want to be in something solid that's like recognized by society as like a real relationship, or like a real, like, if you're not romantically inclined, like, could be a project or whatever, but it's like, it's legit, like you actually get it, your business registered, or you marry someone, like, people are like, the community is aware of what's going on, and there's this like traditional character of the Hierophant who's like conducting the ceremony. And just because of my poor eyesight and stuff, I'm kind of seeing like a big pie, which I know is not in this drawing. And like wine and like, anyway, so it kind of feels like if this wedding's happening, it's gonna, like where I live, it's kind of like in the background. I mean, I live in a city, but if you were in the sky, it would look a bit like that. So if it was a wedding, it would be on the simple side. Like, my computer's like really overheating. I forgot that I had to put it on something. Wait just a second. Don't do that. Okay. Yeah, and I also feel that because of these scrolls, I feel like there's maybe one or both of the partners have some importance in the community, and it's like maybe even written about in the paper that this union took place, or it's really like on the public side, but at the same time, there's not a lot of guests. Like, I know for me, like, I've already been married once, and if I were to do it again, I would not make it like tons of people. So this would suit me just fine. Having a pie in the country with some wine and stuff. And like, okay. Sorry, I'm having a bit of fun with this card. And also have trouble seeing, so it's like a weird mix. But it's kind of talking to me, so I'm curious. Also, like, I feel, not to get hyper specific, but I feel like Star Wars was a huge influence on the masculine that we're talking about. I mean, you know, say what you want about Star Wars, and now that it's been taken over by Disney, it's definitely a different cart of apples than it once was. And, you know, movie to movie, whatever. But like the first shock when you first see the very first, like in 1977 or whatever, when I saw Star Wars for the first time, which was like way after when it came out, because back in the 70s, there was no like commercials for movies, really. I don't remember any commercials for films when I was a kid. I don't think that was a thing, but they would just have in the press, like in the paper, there'd be like an ad, like a like, hey, Star Wars is playing at whatever theater, you know, come see it. And really, it wasn't until later, after it had been out for a while, people were paying to see it like 25 times in the theater, because no one had a tape of this stuff. Like, no one had a home entertainment system whatsoever. So you had to, like, you want to see that movie again, you pay in the theater, like not at home. Anyway, so I knew guys that had been like 25 times to see Star Wars, but I was like late in the game. It was like Led Zeppelin or Nirvana for me, where people are just like, oh, Led Zeppelin or Nirvana, and I just be like, whatever. But then you're in the club, and then like Smells Like Teen Spirit comes on, you're like, what is that? Like, that is better than other songs. Or like, you know, you finally take the time to, you know, you hear Stairway to Heaven, you're like, okay, like that's like it's next level, right? And so I just sort of thought Star Wars was just like a film for boys to enjoy about space war. And when yeah, and also as a side note, like when it first came out, like I remember being at the theater with a family friend who was like older, and she was babysitting a bunch of us girls, and we were faced with a list of movies to choose from. And our babysitter, who was older, went for Barbarella instead of Star Wars. So, because Barbarella, I guess, had been re-released at that point. So we were like these young kids, like under, I don't even, how old was I? I was like 10, around 10. And seeing Barbarella was like, it was a bit early, I think, for that movie. Anyway, and so it was like months later when I finally saw Star Wars, and I was like, whoa, okay, this is next level. Like, you know, anyway. So, yeah, so I was picking up that the masculine was like super. You see this guy with the swords? That guy? Yeah, so I kind of feel like either the story of Star Wars about like someone breaking free of their family, and like, you might not think I'm supposed to be like the most awesome, life-saving Luke Skywalker of all time, but check it out. Like, I'm going to leave this farm and become that guy and follow my vision. And I'm helping helpful people like Obi-Wan are going to come on my path and help guide me. And, you know, I'm just gonna have this skill set in me that allows me to become this person. So I kind of feel like the divine masculine is like aware that like he may be in this present living situation, and I'm getting like full chills and stuff saying this, so it's true, that they have a greater mission, and that they need this relationship to complement them in becoming this awesome, like, universe saving space dude. And in this case, maybe they'll be doing things here on Earth that are beneficial to everyone in a way that like he might not even have thought like he was capable of, because he's used to just being like that guy that everybody just assumes is always going to be like the same way or whatever. But it's like, surprise, I'm Luke Skywalker, you know. So anyway, so that's really positive. And the only way he's going to become Luke Skywalker is if he remembers that he's part of Source and the creation of Source. Like Source was like, I'm going to make like the most awesome masculine energy person ever, and it's you know. And if you allow that awareness, this good fortune can come to you. That's a pretty nice reading. I like the readings when they're not just all like lovey-dovey. It's like mission and purpose and awareness, and you know, it's like a nice mix of everything. But we do also have like two 10 of Pentacles. No, we have 10 of Cups and 10 of Pentacles going on in the same reading. That's pretty like awesome. It's like it's solid. Like it's a very gets me in a background feeling kind of way, very like in my subconscious is becoming very emotional over that. But I'm not gonna cry. I'll just take a second to feel what I feel about the masculine energy right now. Like they might be fighting through some kind of critical type feelings, like we had the card Judgment come in. Yeah, so they might be feeling like judgy, but being judgy, like when Judgment comes in to like balance things, like it can be uncomfortable, but you have to work with the divine and the messages and like the greater purpose. Yeah, because like when stuff happens, when stuff comes down the pipe, it's like you can't just be automatically like, well, this is that, you know. This is the universe's job. It's not your job, like, really. And like real judges here on the earth plane, like they have the conceit of being like higher up than you, wearing like a cape, you know. Like, I was like, dude, you're not better than me. Like we're all, or, you know, that's not, I would like a redo of the justice system, please. Anyway, and so it's not for humans to be sitting higher above, wearing like a big cape and a nice like bow on your shirt with the hammer of Zeus or Thor or whatever. I proclaim this, you know. It's just like, no, that's like such a huge hubris and conceit that is like almost unimaginable. And like, yeah, I'm calling for a redo of the justice system. So don't be judgy, and your best decisions will come from your intuition. So try to keep your mind clear, like embrace healthy living like never before, so that you can be this like receiver, a clear receiver for all this awesome kind of universe and you relationship that makes everything run smoothly and gives you all the abundance you could ever dream of in better ways than you could ever think. All right. I wish you guys the best, and thank you for your patience with this very long video.